Can you name maybe a few things that you would like to, let's say, if you have a chance to discuss or to debate?
For example, I would love to know what the criteria is in Singapore for people becoming permanent residents and citizens, because I think it's a mystery to everybody. And frankly, I don't think it needs to be a mystery. I don't think there's a need for that. I think if you can't justify your decision making, then there's something probably wrong with your decision making. So I would like to see a little bit more transparency around that kind of thing, for example. I'd like to see people walking the talk in terms of things like the environment more here. There's an awful lot of talk about the environment here, and we do, I think as a country we do care. We plant a lot of trees and all those kind of things. At the same time, there are people seemingly getting away with chopping down trees with impunity. So it's like, come on, what's all that about, So I'd like to see a little bit more of again, action-oriented discussion going on around those kinds of things. I would love to think that anybody coming to this country should really, or particularly if they're going to be here, if they want to become a PR or a citizen, should actually demonstrate an interest in and knowledge of this country. I don't think, of course, we don't have a language issue here. Like in some countries, if you go to live in the country, then you have to learn to speak the language. Fair enough. That's not an issue here because English is still the main lingua franca. But, rather than people just coming in here and dumping their money here and having no interest or concern about the country, I'd like to see, well, come on, actually, if you really want to come in here and really want to be a PR, you want to be a citizen, then I think you should actually show that you have some interest and be taught something about the country before you're given such status. I think to become a citizen you do have to go through, I don't know, because I've tried twice to become a citizen and failed twice, and I have no idea why, going back to transparency, which I think is a bit sad, and but never mind, I've been a PR for many years. It's much more difficult to become a PR or a citizen these days because there's so much more demand, of course, for it. But again, I'd like to understand what the criteria is. What is this country trying to do? We are predominantly Chinese ethnically, and we're around, we hover between 70 and 75% Chinese ethnicity. Fine, closer to 75, I think, most of the time. But how are we going to keep that up going forward? Because the birth rate is incredibly low. Do we want to literally import a lot of people in from China? That hasn't always been super successful, shall we say? I don't care, but Singaporeans don't like a lot of people just being dumped on them from mainland China. So how's that going to work going forward? Particularly amongst the Chinese group, the birth rate is particularly low. So there are some interesting issues there. And do we have to hang on to the 75% Chinese ethnicity? Is it an absolute, set in stone marker that we must always have? Don't know. Can we discuss?